Dow is up about 10 points. Nasdaq is down about 59 points. But shares of Apple are trading down about $1 to 135. Microsoft down two and a quarter to about 241. Oracle's down about 47 cents to 63. Walmart is up though, however, breaking the curve, about up 66 cents to 77. But Tesla continues to fall. Tesla's down at $40 today, down about 4% again today again as well. That marks a 63-point fall for Tesla since about February 1st. It's about to break resistance levels at about $800. Its next resistance level could be about 645 from January 28th. So watch Tesla. It seems to really be in a big fall at the moment. The big news as you join me on Mornings Late is that third stimulus provisions of the third stimulus package are starting to get approved by subcommittees of the House of Representatives. And this is the time and place and the moment and moment across the board to get that stimulus out. Viewers have been on social media over the last few days to urge congressional leaders to get that big stimulus out. The question is how quickly and how soon, and get those items at issue. What's going on here? The third stimulus package is currently in House subcommittees of the House of Representatives. It's divided by subject matter. Each department is dealing with a different issue. Labor is dealing with minimum wage. Business is dealing with the business grants. Ways and Means is dealing with the stimulus check, the FPC, and the tax credits. And then ultimately, if you're watching this broadcast and you're wondering who's dealing with my provision, I'm going to answer that question for you right away. So make sure you subscribe. Good morning and welcome to Mornings LA, live from Los Angeles. The toast is toasting. The butter is buttering. I'm here, you're here, and thank you for joining me. This is LA, from Wall Street to Main Street, from my home to your home, the most comprehensive financial news across the corner, across the globe, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And if you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Also like this video. And if you've not become a member, thank you for all the people who became members overnight. Consider becoming a member. The link is in the description, also at the top of the chat. All right, let's get back to the breaking news. The breaking news is that this morning, to start a Wednesday morning, the House subcommittee that deals with labor, it's called the Education and Labor Panel, approved the $15 an hour federal minimum wage add-on to the third stimulus package. This is significant for every viewer of this channel for a series of reasons, not so much substantively what happened, but procedurally. If you're watching this video and you're wondering, I want the stimulus check to be this way, I want the FPC to be that way, I want the SSI and SSDI to be this way. Well, this is an example of what one group got by pushing. On Friday, Joe Biden appeared on CBS News, and he said that he did not think the $15 minimum wage would survive. If it would not survive, he said he was going to do it as a standalone bill. Well, House members, namely the Progressive Caucus, heard that interview and told Politico that they were concerned about the interview and spent all weekend long to get the $15 minimum wage into the provision and stay there. And they lobbied and they lobbied and they lobbied for it. These are actual House members. And they got the Education Labor Panel to get it in there. And they got it in there. And this morning, minutes ago, the Education Labor Panel approved by a 27 to 21 vote that part of the $1.9 trillion third stimulus package that has the $15 federal minimum wage. It would start in the year 2025. So if you're watching this video and saying, I want to push, where should I push? Let me explain you right now. There's a series of issues that viewers of this channel have been on social media discussing and pushing for in the third stimulus package, and I'm going to address them right now. First, the stimulus check. The stimulus check is in the House Ways and Means Committee. The leader is Representative Neal. That's who you should be. Everyone on that committee is the one that you should be pushing for getting your, for arguing your position loud and clear. Next, the tax credit is also in that subcommittee. And finally, the FPC is also in that subcommittee. Let's go over all three of those items before we go to the next subcommittee. The stimulus check. You were promised by the Biden administration, you were going to get a $2,000 stimulus check in the year 2021, in addition to the $1,400 stimulus check from last year. The $1,400 stimulus check from last year was the Cash Act. It was a fix-it bill. It was a bill to fix the $600 second stimulus check and give you an additional $1,400. You are promised a new $2,000 stimulus check this year plus $1,400. The Biden administration has not kept that, has digressed from that promise. Item number two, the Cash Act was to give unpaid stimulus checks to adult dependents from the first and second stimulus package in this retroactively in this package. So under the first stimulus package, adult dependents never got a $1,200 stimulus check. They never got a $600 stimulus check. They were supposed to get those two retroactive checks plus the current stimulus check in this package. Adult dependents were supposed to get $3,200 plus $2,000. Instead, adult dependents are not getting the $2,000 like single individuals aren't. And they're not getting, but instead they're only getting $1,400. They're also not even getting the $3,200. They're not getting the $1,200 stimulus check from the first stimulus package or the $600 stimulus check from December. So the Biden administration has digressed from its promise for adult dependents as well. Adult dependents should be at least getting $3,200. That means we're just going to forget and never pay the adult dependents their outstanding check from the first and second stimulus package. Then let's turn to FPUC. FPUC is that add-on that goes on top of your UI and PUA. It's an unemployment issue. It's an unemployment add-on. If you're unemployed as a W-2 worker, you get UI. If you're unemployed as a independent contractor, you get something called PUA. FPUC goes on top of it. It's an add-on. It started on the first stimulus package from March to July. And as July rolled along, it was about to expire. It was running at $600 a week. It was about to expire. And VP Harris appeared on Chris Hayes' MSNBC and said, hey, you can't let this expire. She called the Republicans hypocrites to allow it to expire. She said it would be catastrophic to the American society if we allowed $600 of FPUC to expire in March. Well, it did expire. And in the weeks that came, Nancy Pelosi was offered $400 a week from Steve Mnuchin, but rejected it, said she would hold out for $600 a week, and would ultimately said she would pay it retroactively. The third stimulus package doesn't pay you a dime. Doesn't pay you a dime. Doesn't pay you $400 a week that Steve Mnuchin offered. Doesn't pay some of the $600 a week that Nancy Pelosi was trying to get, that Nancy Pelosi was holding out for. Doesn't pay you anything for FPUC from July to December 2020. So if you want to go on social media, certainly go on social media. The Biden administration has digressed from its promise about $600 a week from July of 2020 to December of 2020. Now, when we look at this year, the Biden administration just a few weeks ago said that FPUC would go from January of this year going forward to September. The third stimulus package, what does it do? It doesn't do that either. It doesn't go from January to September. It goes from March to August. Again, it's not even from today's date. So it's, again, a digression from what the Biden administration had indicated. So if you want to push, go on social media and push all these two items to the House Ways and Means Committee. There's one last item as well. That's the tax credit. There are a series of tax credits that have been on the codes for many, many years, over 10 years. They're just child tax credit, the earned income tax credit, the child care tax credit. They're around. You can use them right now. You could use them last year. You could use them the year before. But the Biden administration proposes to change the amount and the eligibility, just adding another year onto it. Well, we were told by the Biden administration it was stimulus for this pandemic. Biden administration is digressing again. It's now saying the tax code will take effect next year for the tax year 2021 when you file your tax return next year. And it'll be only for 1 year. Again, that's not stimulus relief for now. You need stimulus relief for this year. Hey, Sherry Lee Elias. Everyone welcome Sherry to becoming a Purple Hawk. How are you? Everyone welcome Sherry to the family. Thank you for becoming a member of this family. So if you're watching this video and you're wondering about the stimulus check, the FPUC, and you're worried and wondering about the tax credits, go on social media and go and contact the Ways and Means Committee saying these things should not be the way they are. Again, the bill as written, $1,400 a stimulus check for an individual, $1,400 for adult dependents, $1,400 for child dependents, $2,800 for a married couple. Everyone gets $1,400. If you're on benefits, you get $1,400. SSI and SSDI, Social Security and Railroad benefits, you get $1,400. The income eligibility unchanged, and the FPUC $400 a week from March to August, and the tax credits starting next year for just 1 year. That's that item. The next item is the rent. The rent provisions were debuted yesterday on this channel, and the rent provisions are in another subcommittee. That subcommittee, which concerns housing, details a series of rent provisions. The rent provisions, again, digress from what the Biden administration said was going to happen. The Biden administration said you would apply to the federal government for rent assistance. The federal government would pay the landlord rent, and if the landlord didn't accept the rent, then the federal government would pay you the rent. It was a program where you applied to the federal government. Viewers have mixed opinions about applying to their city for rent. They had always heralded and applauded the idea of applying to the federal government for a rent program run by the federal government. Well, that's again not what's in the bill. The bill digresses from the Biden camp's representation. The Biden administration had said it was going to have a federal clearinghouse where you apply. Not going to happen. The rent program is going to be at your city and county. The money will be given to cities and counties, and then you apply to your city and county. That city and county will have three types of rent programs: one for low income, second for middle class, and third for homeless. The homeless provision is really quite excellent because it includes a lot of different types of homelessness. One, it includes an individual who is homeless. Two, it includes a person who has the threat of homelessness, which is great. And thank you, Stacy, for coming to Purple Hawk. Everyone, welcome Stacy to the family. How are you? And the final provision is a wonderful provision. It says that it will provide homeless rental relief, people who became homeless because of a social issue, like domestic violence or fleeing or seeking shelter from something of another source. That is excellent. But where is the mortgage assistance? I have not yet seen the mortgage assistance in the third stimulus package bill. It may be in there, but I can't yet find it. All right, let's now go to the other items in the third stimulus package. With 900 people in the room and 300 likes, we're coming up on the 13-minute mark. Let me give you the big update where we are on a big morning of Mornings LA. Thank you for joining me live from Los Angeles. It's Mornings LA. Wall Street is relatively flat, but slightly down. The major indices are relatively quiet this morning. The Dow Jones is up about 10 points. NASDAQ down about 59 points. Apple's trading down $1. Microsoft down $2.25. Oracle down 47 cents. Walmart's up about half a dollar. But Tesla continues to fall. Tesla's down $40 right now, fallen 4%, and it's fallen $63 since February 1st. If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe, like this video. And if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk or Purple Power, Calcino VIP. There's about 800 people in the room. Let's see if we can get to 1,500 in the room and 1,000 likes. Let's get those likes up. 300 people in the room. There we go, 1,000 in the room now. Let's see if we can get those likes up. Before we get to the next subcommittee and what it has, let's go over the subcommittee and what it doesn't have. And you know what I'm about to say. SSI, SSDI, Social Security and Railroad benefits. The Biden administration, during its transition papers, said that it was going to give you stimulus relief if you're on Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, SSI or SSDI, and was going to pay you $200 a month from now to December. That has absolutely gone quiet. There's been absolutely no talk about that since December from the Biden administration. Now, Elizabeth Warren was the person who originally wrote these provisions that are very helpful. Those provisions became part of her presidential campaign. Then when she bowed out, Joe Biden took on the policy and said he endorsed it and repeated it in his campaign papers. But when he was elected, he included it in his transition papers. Now there's been no talk yet about SSI and SSDI, $200 a month from now to December. So who should you get the message out loud and clear? Because you have this week to get that provision into the third stimulus package. It can still be a separate bill, but who can you get to get that message into the third stimulus package bill? Elizabeth Warren is a senator. This is currently in House subcommittees, but you should certainly reach out to Labor Department, the House Subcommittee of Labor and its members. The Department of Labor, or Education Labor, is the one that just passed the $15 minimum wage. The $15 minimum wage was passed by the House Subcommittee on Education and Labor. I would certainly reach out to them regarding the SSN 200. Get on social media, call on the phone, get that message loud and clear. Certainly include Elizabeth Warren in the discussions, because she's the one who brought this up. She's the one who originated this. She's the one who originated SS 200. And Joe Biden therein assumed the policy and repeated it during his transition papers. So there is hope for you. Certainly push. It can still be a separate bill, but it should be in this bill. It should be in this bill. All right, now let's go to the next items. The next items are hazard pay. We have yet to see hazard pay, and hazard pay would also be in labor. Hazard pay has taken a strange form. In the second stimulus package drafted by Nancy Pelosi, the HEROES Act, hazard pay was going to be $10,000, up to $10,000, based upon the hours you work from January 2020 to 60 days after the pandemic ended. It was supposed to be $13 an hour based upon the number of hours you worked, up to $10,000. And you were supposed to apply to the federal government, and you were going to get paid hazard pay. It was very simple. If you did not watch our Overnights LA video at 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, tune in that night. Every night we talk about hazard pay. This channel has recorded upwards of 700 hazard pay videos. Well, Joe Biden, in his summary of his third stimulus package bill, doesn't talk about the federal government paying you hazard pay. Rather, he says, I'm going to urge corporate America to pay you hazard pay. Now, whether it's state, county, or federal government, they can do that. Here in Los Angeles County, they passed a rule that requires the groceries operators to pay hazard pay to their workers. Now, again, it's just it's only one type of work, and it's only one part of the LA County economy, and it's not comprehensive enough. But the federal government could certainly order corporate America to pay hazard pay. They've done it in other states. Other states have made a state law. So what happened yesterday? Joe Biden had top corporate America at the White House to discuss issues with them. I presume they were to discuss hazard pay. But ultimately, if they don't want to pay you hazard pay, corporate America, then what should you be doing? Go on social media and make sure you make clear to the Biden administration the promises that you would get paid hazard pay. Let's go back to the transition papers. The Biden administration's transition papers said that you were going to get paid hazard pay. Made it very detailed. Hey, Leela, thank you for coming to Purple Hawk. Everyone welcome Leela to the family with 1,100 in the room and 400 likes. Let's get those likes up, and let's get to 1,500 in the room. Let's get 1,000 likes here. Hazard pay, you want to make sure that hazard pay includes as many people as it include. Hazard pay should include independent contractors, should include self-employed people, should include people who work for someone that has now lost their business, should include people that work for someone that has now been shut down. It should include a lot more people. It should not just include people who are at a department store now in February 2021. The hardest core of the pandemic was in when the virus hit in spring of 2020. Those are the people that absolutely need hazard pay. Foremost, whether that business still exists or the employer has lost the business or whether the employee has been laid off. So go on social media and make that message very loud and clear. Let's go to the business grants. The business grants on the third stimulus package were delivered to the viewers of this channel for the first time ever last night on this channel. And it was really quite surprising. We were told in a primetime press conference by President Biden that he was going to have a series of business reliefs for people. He also had those documents, that delineation, that explanation in his third stimulus package proposal. He said, one, there's going to be a business grant for existing businesses to get back on their feet. The second one was a new business loan for someone that want to go start a new business. He was going to give you money to go start a new business. He spent almost 5 minutes of that primetime speech talking about small businesses are the core of this country, and I want to give money to ensure that the core of this country can get back on their feet. And I also want to encourage innovation. I want to encourage you. I'm going to give you a loan to go start a new business and get that business going. Well, that's what he said just a few weeks ago on prime time to announce his third stimulus package. What's in the third stimulus package? One, I could not find the loan to go start a new business. I could not find it anywhere. Maybe it's there and I just don't see it. So is that yet another digression from the Biden administration's promises on prime time in a primetime press conference? That's the first one. The second one is the business grant to help ailing businesses to get them back on their feet. Well, he had suggested it was going to be a new business grant. The bill that was delineated to viewers last night on Evenings LA is not a new business grant. It's the EIDL grant. That under March of 2020, the EIDL grant was promised to give you $10,000 within 3 days of when you applied. You need that $10,000 when you applied in March of 2020. You need it in April in April 2020 when you applied. $10,000 grant. It said within 3 days and said $10,000. It didn't say $8,000 or $9,000. It said $8,000. It said $10,000 and it said 3 days. Thank you, Sean, for becoming a member of this family. Thank you for the super chat. Someone just left. Everyone welcome Sean to this family. You were to get $10,000 in 3 days. $10,000 would have helped a lot your business in March and April 2020. Viewers did not get it because of strange policies of Javier Carranza and her tenure at SBA, head of the SBA administration. Now that President Biden to see a more promising time, rather we see this bill. And what does the bill say? $5,000. $5,000? A $5,000 grant to cover your business from March to now? $5,000 basically barely pays someone's water bill for 1 month. What is $5,000? Is that a mistype? $5,000 that doesn't make any sense. $5,000 doesn't help get your business back on. That's like saying, here's some crumbs, go make some bread. That doesn't help get your business going. So what are we doing here? That doesn't make any sense. What also didn't make sense last night was the provision that is new that we did not hear from the Biden administration, but we heard from Nancy Pelosi. About 2 weeks ago, Nancy Pelosi gave us a document, and I've given that out to you as well. Nancy Pelosi's document was very voluminous, even though it was only 2 pages long, and it was actually very accurate, and it said what was going to be in here, and it talked about a new restaurant grant. The restaurant grant makes no sense. The restaurant grant says that if you have a restaurant between February or December of this year, meaning you can go start a new restaurant at the time of watching this video. You can go start a new business. You can go start a restaurant. And guess what? It doesn't have to be a restaurant. The language of the bill says it can be a food cart. Yeah, a hot dog stand. So how much can the hot dog stands get? It says up to $5 million per location. Wait a second. We're giving $5 million to hot dog stands, but that just haven't even existed in 2020, that may have just started operations in 2021. We're giving up to a $5 million grant for a hot dog stand. You know, with the griddle, it's delicious. It's so delicious. I mean, it's worth trillions of dollars. It's so delicious. It's not that delicious. It's not $5 million delicious. I love the hot dog with the bacon and the bacon around it more than anyone else. But it's not $5 million delicious. It's just not that delicious. What's the best taco you've ever had? I've had some delicious tacos, but I've never had a $5 million taco. Maybe that's at maybe that's in one of those expensive department stores. They have it on the third floor. The $5 million taco, it's flown in from Paris or something, has something on top of it. Why is there a $5 million grant for a hot dog stand? I'm not joking. That's actually what it says. So this shows some sort of drafting confusion by the Biden administration that they're giving $5 five pennies on the dollar, $5,000 to an existing business that was impacted when the pandemic hit in 2020, but they're going to give up to $5 million for a taco stand if you just go start it about tomorrow. Uh, Excuse me. Now, they will certainly say it's up to $5 million, but the $5,000 says it's up to $5,000. It would be very nice if you took the $5 million and give the $5 million grant to the businesses that were around in 2020 that got hit by the pandemic, and give the taco stand that's opening today $5,000 instead. I think they've reversed the numbers are on the wrong side of the bill at the 25-minute mark. Give me some soup, give me some chicken soup card. Yeah, bacon wrapped hot dogs. I mean, what is that bacon made out of if they're getting $5 million out of it? That's just I don't understand this. Uh, Across the board, the other things that are certainly an issue that are in the third stimulus package, which we've yet to see, are the $1,700 of financial aid for college students. That would likely be in the education department, education subcommittee, the $1,400 a week paid sick leave, and more. So what's going to happen now with your third stimulus package? Where are we and what's going on? So what's going on is last Friday they passed a reconciliation bill. The reconciliation bill is like a tow truck with a tow hitch behind it. The tow hitch needs the tow truck. It can't exist on its own. The tow hitch is the bill they're working on this week, the $1.9 trillion stimulus package. The tow truck is the one that passed over the finish line last week. The tow truck became a law. It basically says that they can pass the $1.9 trillion stimulus package from Joe Biden without a single Republican vote. Well, if you don't need a Republican vote, why don't you give us a little bit more money? You know, this is the time and place where you have a mechanism in place to get big stimulus out to the American economy. This is the time and place that you would do it, and the concern is whether that's not being done. Here's another thing to take away for this new morning. The new morning, the economic, there's two major economic items, actually three, that are very important as you to know as a viewer of this channel that impact your stimulus. Three big economic impact items that you need to know when understanding stimulus now and stimulus going forward. One, a new report says that we're now really doing very well on vaccinations. We are now at 1 million vaccinations a day and 40 million vaccinations a week. This is just an enormous turnaround from just a few weeks ago where we were seeing 40 million of vaccinations a month. We're now at up to over a million of vaccinations a day. That's that's the first part of that. Yesterday, Walmart's head said that he thinks that vaccines will be readily available in all its pharmacies of Walgreens across the country in mid to late March, meaning you can go to a pharmacy and get a vaccine. It will be that easy. There's now reports that says by April, they may be looking for arms for vaccines, not arms looking for vaccine doses. It may be that readily available. And that's even without Johnson & Johnson coming to the marketplace, which will come to the marketplace shortly, in just a few weeks. So the vaccination of the country is really doing very well. The vaccination of the country means that if we have about 75 to 85% of the, excuse me, if we have 75 to 85% of the country vaccinated, we could see the country getting more back to normal. You will see businesses reopen. You will see lockdowns lifted. You will see inside operations that are currently outside on the street corners. That's item number one. Thank you. Item number two is with that growth, there is thoughts that the Federal Reserve which has been buying into the economy to lift the economy, may have to raise interest rates because the concern that inflation may be too strong in middle Q2 2021. If inflation starts to percolate, the Federal Reserve may have to raise rates. Raising rates will cause the stock market to go down, housing to go down, everything to go down. What does this mean for you? It means that in a strange way, suddenly the economy may be heading in a direction that Mitch McConnell was betting on in summer of 2020. In summer of 2020, Mitch McConnell was betting on not giving you stimulus on the idea that the economy would come back strong and that he wouldn't need to give you stimulus because businesses reopen, businesses reemploy, employment numbers go up, the employment number drops. Well, that didn't happen, of course, in 2020. But if you see vaccination rates going through the roof and vast parts of the US economy overwhelmingly vaccinated, you're going to see businesses reopen. You're going to see employment numbers improve. You're going to get your job back. Whether you were paid $40,000 or less before this pandemic, you can get your job back. Unemployment numbers will drop below 300,000 new jobless claims per week. And if that happens, you may see the party in control not try to give you as much stimulus because the economy is back to normal. Message is exactly true, as Michelle Carter just said, no stimulus. You could see that if this economy goes into second gear and third gear and suddenly is starting to really get very strong by May of this year, you could see the party in control not be very anxious to give a lot of stimulus. So now is the time to get the stimulus. Now is the time to really push. Thank you, Stacey, for the hot dog. I want you to understand that there's three major factors that impact stimulus after this one, which is unemployment numbers, vaccination rates, and the Fed. If you see, we already know vaccination rates are really improving. If we see unemployment number improving greatly, then you may see the party in control trying to pull back on fourth stimulus or fifth stimulus. So you need to push right now. This is the thing you need to push right now. I need you, if you are listening to this video and you are unhappy about the stimulus check, unhappy about the adult stimulus check, unhappy about the FPC, not pleased with the SS200, not pleased with the tax credit, not pleased with the EIDL grant or the business grants or the business loans, take this video, share it on social media, start the hashtag campaign. Specifically, go to the elected officials that go over the parts of the bill that concern you. So if you are education labor, contact education labor. If you're Ways and Means, contact Ways and Means. Remember, Ways and Means concerns the check, FPUC, and the tax credit. Education and labor concerns anything that is labor related, like hazard pay. And get the messaging out loud and clear. We're 32 minutes on the clock and 1,400 people in the room and about 700 likes. Let's get these likes to 1,000. Thank you for joining me on a big morning. I'm really excited you're here. There is a lot of push underway. Today is Wednesday. We are far from over. So I want you to take this video and get that campaign going. Always include the hashtag Purple Power, hashtag LLA. Go on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Tag the elected officials. Retweet one another. Make sure you subscribe. And also like this video. I'll be back with you at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time with Home Elite. Thank you for the great comments overnight, and I'm so excited. I'm really have a renewed energy for you. So let's get it rocking and rolling. If you watch this video after about 9 o'clock, you're watching as a taped video. It's currently live. But please subscribe, like this video, and consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay at LA for more.